Hey, what is going on, guys? This is the SS Ultimate Goku. Hey, what's going on, guys? This is the SS Ultimate Goku, back with another video. And, so, today, we're back here on the show. And, this is our movie, anime, Toonami news. And, there was a surprising development today that I did not expect to go over on the show. So, we're going to talk about it right now. So, we do have some breaking news to share to my viewers that are watching this. Revolving Funimation and Hulu. And it could affect Toonami as well. So, bring this up here. So, as of today, Hulu and Funimation have basically partnered up. For anyone who doesn't remember, Crunchyroll and Funimation just recently departed themselves, as they were in a partnership for about a year, and they have broken up now. And now, Funimation, who are now owned by Sony Pictures, have decided to get into a partnership with Hulu, which I'm pretty surprised by, since Hulu is about to become majority owner to Disney once they officially acquire Fox. So I'm pretty surprised by this deal. But going over the deal here, there's a lot of things that could ramify what is going to be happening on Toonami, which actually could be bad. So, basically, Funimation and Hulu have announced that they have a multi-deal, and here's what it basically says. It says, the new deal will grant Hulu a first look at the U.S. streaming video-on-demand rights to future anime series produced and released by Funimation beginning in 2019, which that could be future releases, which I can get that. But here's where it gets weird. And will make Hulu and Funimation the co-exclusive premiere destination to certain new subtitle anime hit days or hit day and dates, with the worldwide premiere in Japan. It is also boast Hulu and Funimation's previous agreements, and will both Hulu and Funimation and co-exclusive U.S. premiere homes of a dozen high appraised new anime series each year. Hulu and Funimation continue to be the only platforms in the U.S. to stream all subs and dubbed episodes of top anime hits, including My Hero Academia, Attack on Titan, and Tokyo Ghoul. Now, what is the significance for the Attack on Titan thing here is that they mention Attack on Titan, and it's just pretty interesting. Now they go on to say impressive list of titles from Funimation. Funimation expands their catalog, animates 600 shows, offering over 1,000 hours of subtitles and dub entertainment. And then they talk about the brief summary about Funimation as well as Hulu. But as we all sorry about that. But as this whole thing discussed with Hulu beginning this contract in 2019, this is something to note because, as we all know, Attack on Titan, the first half of Season 3 English dub, just premiered on Toonami as usual, and then the next day it goes on the Funimation Now. That is pretty much how it's been working, and I'm almost certain that Toonami has, because they announced that coming in 6 months, the second half of Season 3. And they have the premiere rights to this property. So this is pretty surprising that they're saying that they have the first dibs. You know, when Attack on Titan clearly has the contract for Attack on Titan, they even use Attack on Titan as an example here. They do not mention Dragon Ball Super because that is going to be something that's going to be up for discussion very, very soon with Dragon Ball Super, because they're getting all these new titles coming in. Does this mean that all the future shows, they're not going to be able to premiere on Toonami? Dragon Ball Super, I'm almost certain, is going to continue premiering on Toonami after 2018 is over, because it's continuously running on there. But you know, they're saying premiere. I'm very curious at where this is going. Obviously, we all know My Hero Academia is currently on Toonami, but right now they're all reruns because Funimation now had aired all those episodes. But there was speculation that once they caught up, that they were going to start showing My Hero Academia on Toonami, premiering on Toonami, because, as we all know, during Season 3, the simulcasts were starting to get lower. They were not getting them out on the same day anymore after a few episodes. So a lot of people were starting to speculate that too, because they're right now in the middle of Season 2. They should right into Season 2. So I'm actually pretty surprised at this announcement, and I don't, like I said, I do not know where this announcement is going to take us in terms of where they're going with it. But I don't know if this is going to be a good deal, because for, you know, Toonami's already having problems licensing shows with other. I mean, they have, I guess, some new anime with Crunchyroll coming out, but that's just one project. And I don't know if that's exactly going to be a premiere type deal where they get the premiere dub rights for the show before Crunchyroll gets it on their streaming service. So I don't exactly know where this is going to go. This deal is going to go with Funimation and Hulu. Is it for all the new shows? Is it all for the new shows, or are they going to take away the stuff that's already contracted with other networks? That's going to be the biggest question that people are going to have to discuss, or we're going to have to figure out. Now, I did tweet to Jason DeMarco, and I have not yet heard anything from him. I have also tried to comment on the Funimation website, but it's still monetizing my comment. Even though there was 2 comments that were already placed, I tried to get a question out there about this matter. But this is something that we need more clarification on, because it's very vague. All the shows, we need to really know all the shows that are currently on Toonami, that are premiering on Toonami, like Attack on Titan. We need to, and Dragon Ball Super obviously is premiering on Toonami, consistently from week to week. We need to have a clarification on where this is going, and where specifying how this deal is going to be worked out. If this is actually for everything moving forward, but not necessarily the stuff that's already contracted to other networks. This is something that the people need to know about. And I hope we get more clarification very soon about this deal that is being done with Funimation and Hulu right now. Like I said, surprise move. Especially with Disney about to become the majority owner of Hulu, if the deal with Fox goes through, 20th Century Fox goes through. Pretty a surprise move that Sony Pictures had this deal done. Since Sony Pictures owns Funimation currently. So we'll see where that goes. But as of right now, I don't have anything. I don't have any information. I've tried, but there's nothing out there right now besides what we know at this time. So that is the breaking news that we have at this time. So the next line of news that we need to talk about is the thing that also was announced earlier today, and that was the Dragon Ball Super English dub cast for the new characters that are going to be introduced for the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. So pretty much all the returning characters that we all know and love: Sean Schemmel as Goku, Christopher Sabat as Vegeta and Piccolo, and of course we have Vic as returning as Broly. We also have Chris being Frieza. Again, he's not the best Frieza in my personal opinion. I still say Linda Young is the best Frieza. But the most important thing is, as we all know, Chris was battling a terrible disease, and he's made a speedy recovery, and he will be voicing Frieza in this movie, so I'm very happy for him that he is back at work. So he will be returning as well. So pretty much the main, voices as well are returning for this movie, are going to be in this movie. But the new characters is where it's going to get interesting. So Goku's mom is going to be voiced by Emma. I don't know how to say this other character's name, but it's going to be voiced by someone. I don't know how you say that. I'll be posting all the links in the description. Erica Lermbret, I think. It's kind of interesting because a lot of these people I don't think are typically, Funimation like voice actors from what I'm seeing right now. So sorry for saying these names right. Leno, if I'm saying that name wrong, sorry, is being voiced by Bruce Carey. I don't know how to say that name, but that's being voiced by Sony Frank. Sorry if I'm saying these names wrong. And then the biggest surprise, which is the one that made it happy for me, is that this new character called Barry Blue is being voiced by none other than Veronica Taylor. Yes, the original voice of Ash Ketchum, probably of your childhood, as well as my childhood. Veronica Taylor is voicing Barry Blue. I don't think Veronica Taylor has done any Dragon Ball characters ever. Someone was telling me that she might be doing a character in Dragon Ball Super later on, though, for Universe 2. But I don't recall it. So we'll see if that happens, too. But Barry Blue is being voiced by Veronica Taylor, one of the characters in the Broly movie. That was probably the biggest headlining surprise in this whole thing. I was like, oh shit. Veronica Taylor's going to be voicing a character in Dragon Ball Super. So yeah, like I said, some of these guys I don't really know who they are. To be completely honest with you. But I'm looking forward to seeing them because it seems like a lot of these actors are from California typically. So they're pulling no punches with this one. I wouldn't be surprised if the Super Broly movie was dubbed at Sony. Sony actually does have a studio, their own studio. Also, Funimation has their California studio as well. I wouldn't be surprised, too, if they kind of did it there because it would look better quality for a movie because they did that for Revival of F. Or they could have been it could have been also 20th Century Fox too, where they did it, because 20th Century Fox is doing, like, they're paying for the movie. I guess they could be there too, but it could have done it at Sony Pictures, because Sony Pictures, like, owns Funimation now. So who knows? But I think it's really cool that they're, kind of expanding Dragon Ball Super with other voice actors besides, like, the classic Texas cast for some of these new characters that they're introducing. I would have never thought that Veronica Taylor was going to be on Dragon Ball Super. So I think it's pretty cool that Veronica Taylor will be I think that there'll be a better. I think that's a really good choice that's happening. So very good news for the Dragon Ball Super cast, for the new characters that are going to be in the movie, for what their voices are going to sound like. So, with that being said, that is the dub cast for Dragon Ball Super. Another news to report here. Now, yesterday, I think it was either yesterday or the day before that, the Funimation YouTube channel posted a brief subtitle video about the Code Geass movie. Now, I was actually surprised by this, because they still haven't announced when they're going to dub the movies, the recap movies still. But they announced that they're going to be screening at some point the subtitle movie that's coming out, which they have not dubbed yet. They have licensed all the movies, as well as the new movie that's coming out. So they've been very hush-hush when it comes to Code Geass as of late. The sales were incredible. So I would not be surprised if they, did not dub the recap movies. I mean, they should. They should dub the recap movies, because from what I've heard, they're going to be slightly different. But also get the obviously the new movie as well. But it's going to be very interesting to see where they go. I mean, they've been hush-hush about Code Geass. I mean, even the OVAs. The OVAs were very hush-hush. They never really announced that they were going to have a dub until it actually started announcing the voice cast for the OVA series. So we're going to have to wait and see with Code Geass, because Funimation has been very quiet about the issue, which kind of really starting to annoy me, especially with the sales that it made. Like, with the sales it made, there's no way that it should not be dubbed, that any new contents that gets licensed, for any contents to not be licensed at this point for Code Geass is fucking ridiculous, if you ask me. So, excuse my French. So, Code Geass should be dubbed. I don't know when. I don't know when they're going to announce anything. But it should be dubbed at some point. At some point it should be announced. I don't know when they're going to announce it. It could be literally, the day of they announce the dub cast is when they're going to announce it, which I think is really dumb. I feel like the show should have more respect than that at this point, especially with the sales that it's getting. But that seems like the trend that Funimation has decided to do when it comes to Code Geass. So that's the news on Code Geass right now. We still don't know anything, and we're still waiting. I'm still waiting. I've been waiting like for a year now for to hear about this. I waited over 3 years just for the OVAs to be announced. It's just ridiculous, and I don't like being spoiled, obviously, because I don't watch the subtitles. So I would like to know very, very soon what's going on with Code Geass recap movies, as well as the Resurrection movie that's going to be dubbed soon at some point. So that's where that is at. In terms of Toonami, they have a new boxing show coming out. No angles at this time for Toonami. It doesn't seem like they're going to have any storyline this year. Maybe next year they will have a storyline. They also have recently, like I said earlier, they have an announcement that a new show is going to be on Crunchyroll and Toonami. I don't know the full details of this agreement for the show, if this is just a completely brand new show, or if this is a show that's being localized from Japan. But at this time right now, I don't think... I mean, I would imagine that Toonami is getting the dub premiere rights to the show, because otherwise it would be kind of dumb for them. And it could be like some type of deal with Crunchyroll, where Crunchyroll gets more of they kind of get the, what's it called, the next day they can show the dub after they follow the Toonami dub schedule, assuming the subtitled version will always be up, but the dub version won't be up until after Toonami airs the dub version of said title on Toonami. So that's what I'm going to imagine. Like I said, nothing else has been said, so that is the best we can say in this whole matter. So that is kind of the news, really, for anime right now. For like all the new stuff that's coming out at this time. For Super and all this interesting anime stuff, but getting next to some of the movie aspects, as we all know, Venom recently surpassed Wonder Woman in the box office, and hopefully can beat Spider-Man. Homecoming, I would really like to see Venom beat it, because Venom does not need Spider-Man to win. Or to be a successful movie, and maybe this will lead to them crossing over with each other. I don't want it to happen. I know a lot of other people do, but I'd rather Venom just be his own thing against Carnage. But if it could pass it, man, sky's the limit. Venom, I have said on record, whether people like it or not, even right now, there are some people that are saying that, Venom wasn't a great movie. And I highly disagree. I think Venom was a phenomenal movie. I think it was a fantastic movie. And I think Venom deserves a lot more credit than it's getting. People saying it's not a great movie. It is a fucking great movie. And over $8,022 later is proving everyone wrong. They do have an advertisement for the DVD and Blu-ray releases for this December. They're doing a kind of Deadpoolish commercial advertisement for it. And it's doing pretty good from that front. So we'll see where that goes with Venom. But they're wasting no time with putting Venom out. And I'm looking forward to it. Venom is doing very good. And I'm looking forward to seeing more. Hopefully, we'll get more production of Venom this or next year. So we can get another movie of it coming up in the coming years. But right now, Venom's looking very promising as a franchise right now. So we'll see where that goes, where they plan to do the Venom trilogy. I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to Venom. Venom is just amazing. Finito. So, with Venom being as successful as it is, we have other movies coming out. Yes, we have to talk about even the shitty movies. So, in the next couple of weeks, there will be a new movie coming out from the DCU, which is none other than Aquaman. I'm not. I'm going to be completely honest with you. This movie is probably going to ruin the DCU. They're putting their whole bank on this movie, and it's going to fail. I'm telling you right now, it's going to fail. You guys know me, okay? I've been right pretty much like this whole year. I mean, let's face it. Venom was movie of the year, okay? And people, I know people are going to say that, some of, Infinity Wars and all that stuff. Venom was the action movie of the year, whether people want to admit it or not. And I hope it does win that nominee, because it is nominated. I hope Tom Hardy wins the, Best Actor award and Best Film award. I hope it does. I hope they do, because that would be the icing on the cake if it can win the Oscars. If it can win the Oscars, that'd be icing on the cake right there. Being back to Aquaman, they're not gonna do good. The film is not gonna do good. I'm telling you, if it does, I'll be shocked. If it makes over 500 million, I'd be shocked. I'd be shocked if it did. There's no way it's gonna pass Justice League. There's no way, and Justice League wasn't a good film. Okay, there's no way it's gonna pass Justice League. And if it can't pass Justice League, DCEU's over. And I like DC better than Marvel. Okay, but the cold hard reality is DC, Warner Brothers doesn't know what they're doing. Okay, I said it before. They should have just went with the original seven Justice League from the early 2000s. That's what they should have done. Cyborg should have been in the Teen Titans. They could have had a Teen Titans movie. And they didn't listen. And now they're trying to play hot potato with trying to figure out how they're going to make all this work, and it's just not working. And that's the biggest issue. And the thing is they're their own worst enemy. Right now, DC is their own worst enemy. They're too worried about what Marvel's doing than trying to figure out what they need to do. With Wonder Woman, they just went out there and they did a good movie. They did a female protagonist. Everyone wanted to see it, and it did phenomenal at the box office. They just need to be themselves. Stop trying to be Marvel and create your own identity. And that's what they're not doing. They're not understanding. They did it for Wonder Woman, but they're not doing it for these other films. Aquaman, the problem with Aquaman is he was a joke character. No one has taken him seriously for years. He's a meme. People don't take memes seriously. I mean, they don't. That's the point of a meme. Okay, we see it on the show that I'm affiliated with, Cartoon Fight Club, all the time. It's it's not something we take seriously, and now you're trying to freshen up Aquaman and make him more serious character, but it's too late. No one is going to buy into that. All of a sudden now he's a serious character. No, he's not a serious character. He's a joke, and you're trying to make him a serious character, but it's not going to work. Fans gravitate towards that. They're not going to gravitate towards something like that. So I'm not holding my breath on this franchise at all. And it's going to be really unfortunate because, I want to see the DC universe succeed. I really do. But the way they're going about it is all wrong. And it's going to make them pay. That's where that is with Aquaman. It's just not a good film. It's not going to be a good film, and it's just not going to work. It really is just not going to work. And I don't know what they're going to do after this. If this film, from what I'm hearing, is if this film does not do good, they're pretty much screwed. Like, I just don't know where they can go, honestly, without it. Without the film doing good, because they have not done good, and they're wasting all this money, and they're not making enough profit on it. It's just, where do you go? Where do you go with the film? Where do you go from here? It's just, and also I want to just put out there, because a lot of people are saying that Batman doesn't make money. That is bullshit. Anymore. Batman does make money. The problem is when you got stupid shit associated with it, it's gonna fail. Batman didn't get a solo movie in the DCEU. If it did, it would have made a lot of fucking money. But they didn't do that. They decided to do Batman v Superman, which fucking sucked in terms of film quality and making sense. It was an It was an okay movie, but it wasn't a great movie either. It was just the whole thing didn't even make sense. I still don't get why Batman and Superman's, like, the whole relationship thing, with his mother or whatever. That was so fucking stupid. Like, oh yeah, we're related, so I can't fight you anymore. Fuck that bullshit. It didn't work. It just didn't work. And then they, expected that movie to sell. Like, yeah, it just, no. So, next we're going to talk about a franchise that I do really like. And that is the Terminator franchise. So, the Terminator franchise is a franchise that has gone through a bunch of different companies since its original release back in 1984, when it was a huge success, surprising a lot of people at the time when it became really good, and did very good at the box office back in the 80s. So, Terminator has been getting a lot of weird news for Terminator 6, which we don't know the official title yet. Right now it's just being dubbed Terminator 6. Now, it's basically rebooting itself again from the Genesis. I really wish they would have just done a sequel of Genesis right now, because it's like, you put a lot into that, and I felt like, you know what, you just started this all up, and then it's like, now we're not going to do it anymore, So, with the whole thing with now Genesis being canned, just like similar to Terminator Salvation, because Terminator Salvation was supposed to start like a trilogy within the trilogy of, the 1 through 3. Then they pulled that up because the company that was doing it declared bankruptcy, and then they sold it away to Paramount Pictures. So then Paramount Pictures then decided to make Terminator Genesis, and Terminator Genesis barely broke even. And so then they just decide, you know what, we're not going to do another sequel of this. So now they're doing a completely new reboot story. So now we got to figure shit out again. And now they are just basically going to follow Terminator 1 and 2. Now, Genesis ignored Salvation. They ignored the events of Salvation, but they mentioned Terminator 1 and 2 events, but they never like referenced Terminator 3, but they never contradicted anything from Terminator 3. So, because they never contradicted anything from Terminator 3, they believe that Terminator 3 was still a part of the official canon. Now, a lot of people are wondering now, with the new Terminator film just recently wrapped up, where is John Connor in this film? Now, right now, Linda Hamilton is coming back. They have 2 other actors that are female actors, which we have no idea what these characters' roles are going to be. It appears they're going to be a part of Linda Hamilton's team in some capacity. And then, of course, we got our villain Terminator, besides the one that Arnold Schwarzenegger is going to play as, which is probably going to be another good Terminator that's reprogrammed. But we don't know where adult John Connor is because he's supposed to be the savior of Resistance, right? This is the premier character. John Connor is obviously in the last movie, they made him into a villain, and that was quite frankly not received very well. And I'm almost certain they're not going to try it again. So because John Connor is not going to be a villain in this movie, where does this lead him? Where will he be mentioned? Reports are there's going to be a flashback version of John Connor's character as a kid, but we don't have any confirmation of what the movie is going to entail him as an adult, if at anything, that leads into a sequel. Right now, there is nothing that indicates anything about John Connor as an adult being introduced into this, universe. So, that's all we can really report on in this whole matter when it comes to the Terminator and, everything else, Terminator news. Supposedly, this is the quote-unquote passing of the torch for Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator, which I don't know if that's a good idea. I feel without Arnold in the film, I don't know how. Arnold Schwarzenegger's character has been killed off in pretty much every film. So, it's not that hard to bring Arnold Schwarzenegger back as a Terminator, because his character dies in every film pretty much, with the exception of Genesis, where he actually does come back and turns into a T-1000. Without Arnold in the film, that's going to be a tough sell for anybody, especially the way the franchise is going right now, with, not many people watching it as much anymore. They just broke even with Genesis, and now you're going to try to pass the torch away from Arnold as the Terminator. That just can't work. I don't know if I would be totally sold on that either. Supposedly James Cameron is going to be involved in this, but so far with a lot of news that's being put around on it, I'm not quite that enthused about this, especially considering the fact that there is an announcement that there is going to be political matters that go on today in a Terminator film. I'm sorry, but a Terminator film should not have anything to do with any political matters. We're supposed to watch films that are like, when watching a Terminator film, we're watching an action film. We're not trying to watch, political matters being addressed during a Terminator film. It's just not going to work. So hopefully it's not as severe as a lot of people are hyping it up to being, because that could be the death of this film. If it is. It's just not something people would be interested in. We're already seeing it with films with Star Wars, and we're seeing it with other films that are coming out there and putting way too much political influence into films for today, and it's just not something people are looking for. We're not looking for something like that. So we'll see where that goes with Terminator. Now, Terminator is actually supposed to come out in November. I think it's coming out a couple of days after my birthday, or maybe even before my birthday. I don't know. But it's coming out in November next year. So be on the lookout for that. Terminator news is going to vary throughout the whole year. Hopefully, like I said, it's going to be a good film. I'm really hoping for it because I'm a huge Terminator fan. I did like Genesis, though I did not like how they turned John Connor into a villain, obviously. But overall, I did think the film and the concept was pretty good. I did like where they were going with it. But obviously, we're never going to find out now what happened. You know, because there was a lot of unanswered questions. You know, where did Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator come from? How was he reprogrammed? There was just a lot of unanswered questions that we don't know, that we're never going to know now because of it. Yes, I know that. We know it's going to be directed by Tim Miller, but James Cameron is involved in it as well. So we'll see. We'll see where they go with it. It also is going to make a lot of things not canon because a lot of, like I said, they're going to just only follow T1 and T2. So we'll see where that goes in terms of what they're doing with that film. So obviously the latest for as we've alluded to when it comes to the 20th Century Fox Disney deal. Right now, it looks like that Disney is going to, in fact, get 20th Century Fox. I still think this is a bad deal for for us as consumers, and it's gonna really hurt the movie studios. But it seems that China approved, which was a major surprise to a lot of people that were talking about it, and including myself, because China obviously what the speculation is that they were going to use this as leverage against President Donald Trump. And they not only approved it, but they approved it with no restrictions, which is pretty surprising, actually. And so far, Europe approved theirs. I'm sure there are some other countries, too, as well. But that's probably the final hurdle they needed. And everything looks to be going well for them. Like I said, I don't know where the future films are going to go. Obviously, Dark Phoenix will be released no matter what. New Mutants will be released no matter what. Production is still going to continue at 20th Century Fox for films that are about to go into production until the deal is approved. So, officially approved. So, I am not sure what this means in terms of future projects like X-Force that's supposed to go into production around next year, in terms of filming. So no idea how or when they're going to start rebooting stuff. X-Men, like I said, is currently still going on. On 20th Century Fox, so there's going to be a lot of things that are going to have to come up in terms of when the X-Men is actually going to appear in the MCU. If Disney's plan is for the X-Men to eventually get into the MCU, then they're probably not going to have the X-Men show up for a few years, unless they're doing a secret war with the Fox characters, X-Men, Deadpool, because obviously Fantastic Four ain't going to be in that shit, because that's a failed franchise at this point. But X-Men and maybe even the villains, I guess. But from the Fantastic Four, but not the actual Fantastic Four. But X-Men and the Deadpool are definitely going to show up if they do a Secret War with the MCU, but that again will be up to them to do that, or they just reboot them into the franchise. But they just did the whole thing with Thanos, so this could be the more obvious decision to do this. But as of right now, we don't know, and you never will until spring, maybe. I'm just kidding, guys. So yeah, that is what we're looking at right now when it comes to those characters and where they're going. Don't know. The ramifications in terms of where they're going to go. Fantastic Four probably will be the first, if anything, to show up into the MCU once the deal is approved, because obviously they know the franchise was terrible with 20th Century Fox. So that would be the easiest one to recast, and have then, the X-Men and the Deadpool is going to be the more challenging thing to get into the transition, especially Deadpool, because he is a rated R character for a movie franchise. So that's going to be the more toughest one to transition into, into the Disney, MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe, as well as the figuring out where, X-Men is going to fall into place. They have a perfect opportunity to do a Secret War, because it won't be exactly like the one that it wouldn't be exactly like the one that they did in the comics, but it would make perfect sense, because you have these two movie studios that have a lot of superhero franchises on the big screen, and now all of a sudden Fox is merging with Disney. So now you can actually translate that into the actual big screen, where you just decide to have all these successful characters from 20th Century Fox just merge into one universe with the Disney Marvel MCU right now. It would actually make really sense in that sense. But I don't know if Disney is going to have the high up to doing that. Or the creative minds to do that, unless Kevin Feige wanted to do that. But the only way they would do that, though, is I think really, if they bring Hugh Jackman back, though, because he's obviously synonymous when it comes to the Wolverine. So that would be the whole way to go about that. But obviously he said on numerous times that it's probably not going to happen, because, he pretty much wants to retire from the character now. He's done it for over 17 years now. So that's going to be the issue. So that is kind of the news right now we have. Right now at this time, like I said, we don't really have any more details when it comes to Toonami and movies and stuff like that. We got what we know right now. But yeah, guys, let me know what you guys think about all of these matters. Comment, rate. If you like this video and my reviews, please subscribe. And that's about it, guys. I am the SS Ultimate Goku, and I'm out of here. Peace.